So moving on here. Having witnessed firsthand how the Justice Department was changing its approach to domestic extremist cases, Sherwin questions. Okay, so he's the one who was saying that Ruby Ridge and Waco were actual cases of terrorism. They were cases of terrorism, but they were cases of terrorism engaged in by the feds, not by the ones that they were attacking, not by the ones they were targeting. But anyway. Sherwin questions whether highly publicized FBI stings might exaggerate the threat in the same way that similar stings produced hundreds of Islamic terrorism cases and help inflate the perceived danger of international terrorism inside the United States. Okay, so this guy, Sherwin, who I guess was a true believer in some ways. I guess the significance here is that he's admitting that for all the good that the FBI has done in so many cases before, that there's something not quite right about all this. So he says the Michigan sting operation, the sting involving the plot to kidnap Whitmer, is emblematic of his concern. This case is a disaster, Sherwin said. Now, he said this before. This is before the case was even brought to trial. I think they wound up acquitting two of the guys who were on trial, and then there was a mixed, what do they call it, a hang jury which resulted in a mistrial for the two others. Anyhow, okay. The key to the government's plan. This is what the defense said. The key to the government's plan was to turn general discontent with Governor Whitmer's Slovid-19 restrictions into a crime that could be prosecuted, defense lawyers wrote in a joint motion. The government picked what it knew would be a sensational charge, conspiracy to kidnap the governor, when the governor was faced with evidence showing that the defendants had no interest in a kidnapping plot. It refused to accept failure and continued to push its plan. So it was the FBI, it was the informants, it was the agent provocateurs, it was the ones out to entrap these militia guys. They were the ones who were pushing, we got to kidnap the governor. We got to kidnap the governor and send a message. And they're as much as admitting that here. Okay. During the first 2 decades after 9/11, undercover terrorism stings became common, allowing the FBI to nab would-be terrorists and justify billions of dollars in counterterrorism funding, but also leading to potentially illegal mass surveillance of Muslims and the accusations of entrapment. Yeah. And so nothing new under the sun, right? A different supposed quote-unquote extremist, violent terrorist group is being targeted, but it's the same. They're doing the same sort of things about them. They're engaging in these same kinds of operations where they're trying to they're preying on maybe the more gullible, the more feeble-minded, the more easily influenced sort of people. They're going up to them and trying to get them all hot and bothered about, let's blow up the George Washington Bridge. Let's kidnap the Michigan governor. And then they can be the good guys when they foil the plot that they started. It's a scam. It's a scam. And it's a scam to the tune of, hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars. Now, as the Justice Department creates a new domestic terrorism unit, blah, blah, blah. The Michigan Wolverine Watchman case suggests that federal agents may rely on the same sting tactics that help overstate the risk of Islamic terrorism to investigate potential domestic extremists. Okay, I'll leave a link to this article. It's a useful article to read, because even though it's, and I'm not with it 1,000% here, in every way, it is at least taking these people to task for what they're doing. These feds, these federal organizations, engaging in these kind of not just a sting operation is just if you know somebody is guilty of doing a bunch of things, then you send somebody in, as an informant, and he reports back what the guy's doing, and then you plot it a way to sting him. That's legit, right? But I'm starting to think that's not really very much what groups like the FBI even do. Now, tell me if I'm wrong. I'm all ears. I'm not all ears, but I am largely ears. I got a lot of ears. I got 2 ears, and they're pretty noticeable. Thanks for watching. My name's Andy Nowicki. Check out my work at ultrarightnovelist.com. Please also take a peek at my new Please also take a peek at my new Substack page, which I will link to below.